deafness, inability to hear, usually has little effect on the vocal cords. And very few deaf people are truly mute, which means most people who have an inability to hear still have an inability to speak. Here's the issue. When you cannot hear well, it affects your speech. Are y'all still walking with me? One thing complicates the other. So even though you can speak and have the ability to speak, because you have trouble hearing, your speech becomes impaired. Are y'all still walking with me? So this man who is encountering Jesus on this day has an inability to speak because he has an inability to hear. Because what you hear affects how you articulate yourself. So let me ask this question. Hey parents, what are your kids listening to? What are they watching in their phones? What your children hear will affect how they speak and what they believe they are able to do and accomplish in life. So as your children are exposed to all this other stuff, make sure you also expose them to something educational. Take them to a college campus. Let them see what college campuses are like. Let them see something outside of their own city, something outside of their own neighborhood, because what your children hear will affect how they speak. And that's why they brought this man to Jesus, because they want him to be exposed to a Savior named Jesus. So yes, I want you to expose him to good schools, and I want you to expose him to good sports and all that other kind of stuff, but make sure you expose yourself and your family to a man named Jesus, because if you expose him to Jesus, if you let them hear from the greatest man who's ever lived or walked this earth, it will change how they speak. How do you know? Because some of y'all in here are already witnesses that when you met the Lord, it started to change how you speak. Exposure to Jesus sounds like, yes, I'm going through, but I believe the Lord will make a way somehow. When you've been exposed to Jesus, it explains how you speak. You start to say stuff like, we'll make it and I'll trust the Lord to find a way. When you've been exposed to Jesus, you start saying stuff like, every time I turn around, the Lord keeps making a way. When you've been exposed to Jesus, you start saying stuff like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. When you've been exposed to Jesus, you start saying stuff like, by his stripes I am healed. Y'all gonna make me keep calling the roll in here? When you've been exposed to Jesus, it starts making you say stuff like, for God I live and for God I'll die. When you have been exposed to Jesus, you start saying stuff like, I will trust in the Lord. When you've been exposed to Jesus, it starts making you say certain things and do certain things. So my brother and sister, whether you got to beg your way into it or not, expose yourself to Jesus. Be in Jesus' company, because it changes the way you speak.